In Arizona, we've got jury selection beginning in cult mom Lori Vallow Daybell's homicide trial. And that is, of course, our top story for you this morning. The doomsday cult mom, as you know, already convicted of murdering her two youngest children, JJ and Tylee, and her fifth husband's first wife, Tammy. Now she's in Arizona acting as her own lawyer on charges relating to the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. And she's also got another pending case of conspiring to murder her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux.
In discovery, I have interviews with police on every single one of the witnesses that are on my list.
Okay.
So I know that they had their addresses. I know that we were trying to get the addresses to them in the quickest way possible. And where I am at the jail, the communication is very difficult for me to get a hold of my investigator, to get a hold of my paralegal. I'm 23 hours a day locked down. If I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have a phone. If I don't have battery, I don't have a phone. I don't have access to get to people. So I understand that. I understand the time constraints, and we're doing the best that we can.
Meanwhile, we got another bizarre development to share with you. Newspaper reporter Nate Eaton found himself listed on Lori Vallow Daybell's witness list. What? He did tremendous reporting on this case for East Idaho News, and Eaton did something really smart. He filed an emergency motion last week saying he wants the judge to take him off of that list as he was just covering this case. He doesn't have any firsthand knowledge of the facts, and he believes that perhaps it's a ploy by Lori Daybell to just keep him out of the courtroom, because if he's a witness, then he would be subject to the sequestration order, presumably. So let's talk about that and everything else we can expect when this jury gets picked starting today. I have two great guests standing by now. Let me welcome them in now with me. Well, got some heavy hitters in the criminal defense world. Mario Gallucci and Don Malarsic are here. Good morning, gentlemen. Oh, Lori Vallow Daybell. She should have called you two, but she didn't. She's going pro se. Oh my. Let's start there and how that's going to go today. Don, you've been following this case, talking with us about it for quite some time. How do you foresee this going when it kicks off today?
Oh my, it's going to be a disaster. I mean, Lori Daybell is delusional. She's unhinged. She's dangerous. And those are really not the words you want on the back of your lawyer's business card. So it's going to be a real disaster. She is an articulate person, but she's obviously delusional. And she has convinced herself that she can do this, that she can represent herself, that she has some special powers. Well, all of that is going to come to a screeching halt as soon as that jury walks into the courtroom and she's tasked with the responsibility of asking questions and picking a jury, doing an opening statement, and cross-examining witnesses. It's going to be a disaster.
100%, Don, 100%. You know, something I'm envisioning, Mario, don't know if you saw the interview with Keith Morrison on Dateline. He did a sit-down with her, and all she did was want to try to redirect where he was trying to go. Every question, she had some answer. She would tap dance around and just go in circles, and it was very clear, and he got frustrated with that she was wasting his time. And I'm wondering if she's going to try to do that again over the next several weeks with the trial. Your thoughts, Mario?
So I agree with Don. I mean, whenever you have a pro se defendant in a case like this, the judge assigned her advisors, but she has no skills. Although she's articulate, she doesn't have any skills to cross-examine, or she's never picked a jury before, and she's starting at the top of the food chain with a murder trial. You know, usually you start at a petty larceny and you pick a couple of jurors, but she started at the top of the food chain. I think that she is going to become unhinged during the trial. The judge is going to have a very difficult time. He's been more than patient with her from what I've seen, giving her as much leeway as he possibly could. I mean, the questions are pretty, accurate. She's locked down for 23 hours, so she doesn't have the access that she would have, that anybody else would have. She doesn't have access to her investigators to interview people. So, it's just going to be a train wreck. It's going to be very interesting to watch.
Definitely, Mario. It's funny, I used that word on the radio this morning talking about this case, and I said we can't look away for that reason. Let's talk about the types of jurors she might ideally want. Don, let me go to you to start us off on that. Who do you think would be a good juror for Cult Mom?
Well, at its core, this is really pretty much a circumstantial evidence case. I mean, they don't have the things that would typically create a solid, strong case for the government, eyewitnesses or confessions. So it's going to be a circumstantial evidence case. You're going to want jurors that can keep an open mind, that are going to be well-versed in crime stories, that expect a very clean case with overwhelming evidence, confessions, videos, those kind of things that we see on TV where cases are solved in 30 minutes. So I think that's probably her best bet, is to find some of those jurors that are really going to be looking for clear, concise, objective evidence that doesn't really seem to be here.
Yeah, great advice, Don. I have a clip for both of you. This is of Charles Vallow when he was alive, and he was essentially, waving the flags and trying to get someone to pay attention to what was going on with Lori at the time, even going to police, saying she's out of her mind, saying that she can murder him. Let's take a look back at some of what he said.
I've tried to support her as much as I could, but it's gotten really, really bad lately. She's had a break. She says, I'm Nick Schneider. I've taken over Charles's body, and Charles has been killed. I'm going to kill you. You're going to be murdered today or tomorrow. I can do it. I'm not going to with my priesthood, with my powers. She does priesthood blessings. She does.
So who's Nick Schneider? Okay.
That's who I'm supposed to be.
So as we know, they were LDS, and then she started subscribing to Mr. Doomsday's religious teachings, and she veered off and became this cult follower. And we know that they used religion as a guise to commit the murders in the last trial, where both of them were convicted. Mario, tell me, how key do you think clips like that one we just saw are going to be for this jury?
So what I found is really sad is that although he's going through all of this, he has so much compassion for her, and he really cares about her, and he thinks that she needs help. And even that interview he did on the body-worn camera back, I believe it was in January, where he's explaining to the officer that, how concerned he is, that she's got mental problems, that in this instance that she thinks that he's another person. And he's not angry. He's saying she needs help. And he tried to get her the help she needed. So I think these clips, if they're played, is going to weigh very big on the jury. Now, it's just a question of how the prosecutor is going to get those clips before the jury.
Excellent points. Mario, thank you for that. From everything we've heard, he was a very loving human being and would have done anything for her and those kids, which is certainly evident in the last trials, as we saw. Don, let me ask you about reporter Nate Eaton, a great journalist with East Idaho News. He was the one who largely got this case brought to light in his coverage. I mean, he went to Hawaii when Cult Mom and Mr. Doomsday were there gallivanting and having a great time on their honeymoon, and the kids were missing. And she put him on her witness list, and he files this motion with the court saying, Judge, take me off. I don't know anything about the facts of this case. I'm just a journalist. I've just been following the case from the outset. What do you think the court should do with that, Don?
I really think this is just a ploy by Lori to keep him out of the courtroom. As you mentioned, there is a separation of witnesses, and what that means is if a witness has been under subpoena, a valid subpoena for trial, they cannot participate or watch any other witness or any other proceedings at trial. So I think you were absolutely right. This is a ploy for Lori to keep him out of the trial so he doesn't continue to cover her case and cases. I think the judge should grant the motion to quash. It's a frivolous subpoena. He has no firsthand information whatsoever. He's not a fact witness. He's not an expert witness. He's just someone who was accurately reporting devastating evidence against Lori, and she doesn't like it.
Excellent points.